Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a single object that perfectly bridges two seemingly, well, almost opposite worlds.
Uh-huh.
You've got the tough demands of deep-sea exploration on one side,
Right, very functional.
and then the refined elegance of, say, a high-fashion accessory on the other. Sounds like a tall order, right?
It really does. Finding that sweet spot is tricky.
But that's exactly what we're diving into today. And here's where it gets really interesting, because our sources focus on a specific piece.
Okay.
The new Mido Ocean Star 200 Sea Green, which sports this quite striking rose gold PVD coating.
Ah, yeah, that combination definitely catches the eye.
So you might be wondering, how can a watch basically built for the ocean floor also give off such, I don't know, warmth and natural elegance?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is how Mido achieves that balance, and they're building on an already strong foundation. It's not out of nowhere. So our mission in this deep dive is really to extract those surprising nuggets of knowledge, those little details that show you just how Mido pulls off this, well, pretty impressive feat.
Taking something familiar and giving it a real twist.
Exactly. Taking a known, respected collection, the Ocean Star 200C, and giving it this stunning new look.
And Mido does have that reputation, right? Quietly solid.
Oh, absolutely. They've quietly established a really strong reputation with this Ocean Star 200C collection. People know them as dive-ready timepieces, solid construction, stylish design.
And good value, usually.
And a remarkable value, yeah. That's always been a Mido strength.
So they have form here.
Definitely.
Mhm.
We've seen earlier variants that paved the way. Think about the Blue Dial 200C in steel classic diver look.
Very popular. I remember that one.
Yeah, and then there was the lightweight titanium edition, which was interesting. And even that COSC certified carbon fiber limited edition. So they've all kind of solidified the brand's pedigree in this line, shown off their technical chops.
Okay, so that foundation of robust engineering is definitely clear. But then, like you said, we introduced something like rose gold PVD coating
Yeah.
onto a serious dive watch.
Yeah.
For some traditionalists, maybe that might seem almost contradictory. How did Mido approach that specific design challenge with this new green one?
And that's, I think, where Mido's strategic design choices really shine. They're not just slapping on a new color or finish.
It's more considered than that?
Exactly. They're redefining the aesthetic. That rose gold PVD, it isn't just a material choice, it's a statement. It gives the watch this immediate warmth, a kind of natural elegance that, you're right, you wouldn't typically associate with a pure tool watch.
It's a deliberate blend.
It's a bold move, absolutely.
Sure.
It consciously bridges those two worlds.
Yeah.
The functional robustness you need in a dive watch with the visual appeal of something, well, dressier.
What? And the PVD itself, it's not just for looks, is it? You mentioned durability.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, when we talk about PVD, physical vapor deposition, we're discussing a coating process.
Mhm.
It results in a highly durable finish. It provides really excellent scratch and corrosion resistance, which is, well, essential for any watch claiming dive readiness. You don't want it looking beat up after one trip.
So it's not just about the color. The PVD itself actually adds to the resilience.
Okay.
Now, let's peel back the layers a bit on the performance side.
Sure.
What are the key features that really anchor this watch in that deep dive category? What makes it a reliable companion for, actual adventure?
Absolutely. Because at its core, it is a proper dive watch. You've got that 200-meter water resistance.
Standard but solid.
Exactly. And a solid screw-down caseback, which is crucial for water resistance. And it's adorned with the Ocean Star's signature starfish emblem, a nice touch.
Right.
But the real genius, I think, isn't just that Mido equipped it with features like the caliber 80 movement.
Which gives you that long power reserve.
Yeah, a generous 80-hour power reserve. Very practical. But it's how they seamlessly integrated that robust high-performance engine with improved resistance to magnetism.
Ah, the Nivacron spring.
Precisely. Thanks to the Nivacron balance spring. It's a modern anti-magnetic alloy that ensures superior accuracy, even in our tech-filled daily lives.
Which is more relevant than ever.
Totally. This is actually crucial for real-world accuracy. It ensures consistency whether you're, descending into the ocean or just navigating your daily commute surrounded by electronics.
It's impressive how they maintain that performance core while adding such a distinct aesthetic layer on top.
Yeah, it's not compromised.
And speaking of aesthetics, let's talk about the case and the dial. How does Mido manage to make a 42.5 millimeter dive watch, which, let's be honest, can sometimes feel quite chunky on the wrist, still exude that refined elegance you mentioned?
That's where the subtle design choices really come into play. So the dimensions are 42.5 millimeter diameter, yes, but it's only 12.3 millimeter thick.
Oh, that's actually quite slim for a few hundred-meter diver.
It is, yeah. For a dive watch, 12.3 millimeters is pretty svelte. It allows it to slip under a shirt cuff much more easily than you might expect. Then you have the meticulous mix of brushed and polished surfaces on that rose gold PVD coated stainless steel case.
So it plays with the light.
Exactly. It plays with the light beautifully, gives it dimension. And the deep green ceramic bezel isn't just for show either.
Right, ceramic's tough.
Incredibly scratch resistant, so it maintains that luxurious look over time. It won't get all scratched up easily.
And the dial itself.
Yeah, the green.
Yeah, the wave-patterned matte green dial is really nice. It works so well with the rose gold. And you got applied indices, all treated with white superluminova for excellent legibility in low light. Still a functional priority.
Good lume is key on a diver.
Absolutely. And even the choice of strap reinforces that duality. It comes on a brown crocodile-style leather strap.
Which definitely pushes it towards the dressier side.
It does. But it has a quick release system, so that offers elegance, but you can easily swap it out for a rubber strap or something more utilitarian if you're actually going diving or want a sportier look. That quick release is a nice practical touch. It really feels like they thought about how people might actually use it in different contexts.
I think so. It's that blend of thoughtful details that really sets it apart.
So, okay, let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for you, the listener? I mean, we've really seen how this Mido Ocean Star 200C green exemplifies a pretty rare blend of practicality and panache. It's clearly building on Mido's solid reputation for value and robust design. It keeps its deep sea bona fides, right? You got the 200-meter water resistance.
Yep, the sturdy screw-down case back.
That reliable caliber 80 movement, 80-hour power reserve, the anti-magnetic Nevacron balance spring. All the technical stuff is there.
Core specs are solid.
But then it elevates its style significantly. That rose gold PVD coating, the deep green ceramic bezel, even that carefully chosen leather strap. It's a whole different vibe.
It really is. And all of this, remarkably, comes at a price point of, what was it, CHF 1090 or EUR 12,290?
Yeah, which for a Swiss automatic dive watch with these features and this level of finish,
Yeah.
especially the ceramic and the movement, that's strong value.
It really is, which, again, is very Mido.
So building on that idea then, this watch, it kind of challenges our assumptions about functional objects, doesn't it?
I think it does. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an important question, maybe.
Right.
When we think about tools, things designed for extreme conditions, do we sometimes overlook their potential for beauty, for, sophisticated design?
Or assume that adding beauty somehow compromises the function.
Exactly. And conversely, can elegance ever truly be rugged? Can something look refined but still endure the demands of real life, real adventure without losing its charm?
That's a great point. Can beauty be tough?
Yeah. It's an interesting tension.
Okay, so here's something to maybe mull over. How does a single design element, like the specific choice of rose gold PVD on a dive watch, like we've discussed, how does that one thing transform its entire perception and its purpose, really, for the wearer? Shifting it from just, mere utility to maybe a statement of personal style.
How much weight does that aesthetic choice carry? Yeah, that's definitely food for thought.